South America. The two routes developed independently but eventually came together. The rat lines were supported by clergy of the Catholic Church. Starting in 1947, some U.S. intelligence officers utilized existing rat lines to move certain Nazi strategists and scientists. While reputable scholars unanimously consider Nazi leader Adolf Hitler to have committed suicide in Berlin on 30 April 1945. Various conspiracy theories claim that he survived the war and fled to Argentina. Now, the Vatican rat lines, Spanish Foundation. The origin of the first rat lines are connected to various developments in Vatican-Argentine relations before and during World War II. As early as 1942, Roman Cardinal Luigi Maglione, evidently at the behest of Pope Pius the XII, contacted an ambassador of Argentina regarding that country's willingness to generously accept European Catholic immigrants in a timely manner, allowing them to live and work. German priest Anton Weber, the head of Rome's Society of St. Raphael, traveled to Portugal with intentions to continue to Argentina, similarly to lay the groundwork for Catholic immigration. Catholic leaders apparently accepted working with the Nazis in order to fight the common enemy of Bolshevism. By 1944, rat line activity centered in Francois, Spain, was conducted to facilitate the escape of Nazis. Among the primary organizers were Charles Lescat, a French member of Action Francoise, an organization suppressed by Pope Pius XI and rehabilitated by Pius VII, and Pierre Daillet, a Belgian with contacts in the Spanish government. Lescat and Daillet were the first to flee Europe with the help of Argentine Cardinal Antonio Caggiano. By 1946, there were hundreds of war criminals in Spain, as well as thousands of former Nazis and fascists. According to then United States Secretary of State James F. Byrnes, Vatican cooperation in turning over these asylum seekers was negligible. Historian Michael Fire argues that Pius VII was primarily focused on fighting communism and would prefer fascist war criminals to the New World rather than in POW camps. Unlike the Vatican immigration operation in Italy, which centered on Vatican City, the Spanish rat lines, though fostered by the Vatican, were relatively independent of the Vatican Immigration Bureau's hierarchy. Bishop Hoodel's involvement. Austrian Catholic Bishop Elias Hudel, a Nazi sympathizer, was rector of the Pontificio Istituto Teutonico Santa Maria dell'Anima in Rome, a seminary for Austrian and German priests, and spiritual director of the German people resident in Italy. After the end of the war in Italy, Hudel became active in ministering to German-speaking prisoners of war and internees then held in camps throughout Italy. In December 1944, the Vatican Secretariat of States received permission to appoint a representative to visit the German-speaking civil internees in Italy, a job assigned to Hudel. Hudel used this position to aim the escape of wanted Nazi war criminals, including Franz Stangl, commanding officer of Treblinka, Gustav Wagner, commanding officer of Sobibor, Elios Brunner, responsible for the Druncy internment camp near Paris, and in charge of deportation in Slovakia to German German concentration camps. Erich Priebig was also responsible for the Ardeatine massacre, and Adolf Eichmann, a fact about which he was later unashamedly open. Some of these wanted men were being held in internment camps, generally lacking identity papers. They'd be enrolled in camp registers under false names. Other Nazis hid in Italy and sought Hudel out after learning about his role in assisting escapes. In his memoirs, Hudel said of his actions, "I thank God that I thank God that he allowed me to visit the comfort many victims in their prison and concentration camps, and to help them escape with false identity papers." He explained that in his eyes, the Allies' war against Germany was not a crusade, but the rivalry of economic complexes for whose victory they had been fighting. Those so-called business used catchwords like democracy, race, religious liberty, and Christianity as a bait for the masses. All these experiences were the reason why I felt duty-bound after 1945 to devote my whole charitable work mainly to formal National Socialists and Fascists, especially to so-called war criminals. And that's why I'm touchy about using terminologies, because a lot of these things that people are saying, they are either intentionally saying them or they don't have a clue what that means, like race baiting and stuff, you know what I mean? That's what these Nazis used to call it, you know. It was baiting and catchwords, you know, race, religion, liberty, and, you know, you got to be careful about these people and what they say, because, like I said, some of them know what they're talking about and they're doing it intentionally, or some don't even have a clue what they're saying and they're freaking just saying it because they heard about it from somebody else. Alright. According to Mark Ahrens and John Loftus, Hudel was the first Catholic priest to dedicate himself to establishing escape routes. They claim that Hudel helped the Nazi fugitives with money and, more importantly, with false identity documents from the Vatican Refugee Organization. These Vatican papers were not full passports and thus were not enough to gain passage overseas. They were rather the first step in a paper trail. They could be used to obtain a displaced person passport from the International Committee of the Red Cross, the ICRC, which in turn could be used to apply for visas. In theory, the ICRC would perform background checks on passport applicants but in practice, the word of a priest is particularly a bishop would be good enough. According to statements collected by Austrian writer Gitta Sorini from a senior official of the Rome branch of the ICRC, Hootle would also use his position as a bishop to request papers from the ICRC made out according to his specifications. Serini's source also revealed an active illicit trade of stolen and forged ICRC papers in Rome at the time. According to declassified U.S. intelligence reports, Hootle was not the only priest helping Nazis escape at this time. In the La Vista report, declassified in 1984, Counterintelligence Corps CIC operative Vincent La Vista told how he had easily arranged for 2 bogus Hungarian refugees to get false ICRC documents with the help of a letter from a Father Joseph Galov, who ran a Vatican-sponsored charity for Hungarian refugees, asked no questions and wrote a letter to his personal contact in the International Red Cross, who then issued the passports. According to Aaron and Loftus, Hootle's private operation was small-scale compared to what came later. The major Roman rat line was operated by a small but influential network of Croatian priests, members of the Franciscan order led by Father Krunoslav Draganovic, who organized a highly sophisticated chain with headquarters at the San Girolamo degli Illirici Salamaro College in Rome, but with links from Austria to the final embarkation point at the port of Genoa. The rat line initially focused on aiding members of the Croatian Ostas, including its leader, or Pavlovnik Ante Pavlik. Priests active in the chain included Fr. Valem Saselja, former deputy military vicar to the Ostasi, based in Austria, where many Ostasi and Nazi refugees remained in hiding. Fr. Dragutin Camber, based in San Girolamo. Fr. Dominic Mandic, an official Vatican representative at San Girolamo.